edition of the Archeryshack Shop Talk. I'm Jeremy.
I'm TJ.
We are on episode 71, and we want to tell you, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hopefully we get a good 2021. I know some folks had a rough 2020, so here's to 2021. If I had a water bottle, we'd give them a toast. Mm-hmm. But I don't. So anyway.
I'm sure everybody has seen the Twisted Tea slap shot on Facebook.
We'd shotgun one over our heads. Stay tuned to the end of this thing because I got some giveaway information we're going to play with, and we'll tell all that at the end. Got a question for everybody, too. What is your favorite bow color or combination of colors? We've had a lot of people, like with Prime, which we sell a good many of, you can get like one riser color and a different limb color, and we've come across some nice looking combos and stuff that you would think wouldn't look that great turns out like sharp.
And so, then it could be your target bow, your target color, or your hunting rig
either
color.
one. What's your favorite color? Like a couple of years ago, I was really on that subalpine limb with a green riser, and I still like that color. But now I don't know. There's like in Prime, there's like a grizzly brown that goes with a bunch of camos, and you can make a string pop and all that. We got all kind of news that's come out this past week.
Oh man.
Darton Archery has been bought out by the folks that own Black Eagle and Conquest stabilizers. So man,
how did that fly under the radar for so long?
I'm surprised no word got out. There had to be, Darton's in Michigan and Black Eagle's in Georgia, and there had to be some major traveling. I mean, I'm sure a lot of stuff was just over the phone, but still, that's hard to believe that didn't get out until it was just like, bam, here we go. So I think it'll be a good thing. I know Rex Darlington's getting older. He owns the patents to more stuff than you'd ever believe. Like most of your hybrid cam systems and 5-piece type systems, he's the man that originally invented it.
Yeah.
And even though Darton's not that big of a bow name, they, from what I've heard, I don't want to say don't care, but they make so much money off the patents he owns that it's not that big a deal of, stuff. So the email I got said they're still going to be manufactured and all in Michigan, but all the customer service end of it will, I guess, happen in Georgia where Black Eagle's at. So that'll be, I think it'll take them a year to 2 years to get it revamped and kind of going in the right direction. But we'll see. I don't know.
I just wonder if they're going to. I'm not going to say rebrand it. Rebrand's not the name. Revamp it. But I wonder what else they're going to do. I mean, the biggest question that I have is, did they actually buy the patents also? That's the big thing.
It wasn't in the email, but I read from another dealer that had talked to them that's the way they took it. So that could be a big money maker. And I don't know how that works. I would imagine it'd been a big sum of money to buy all that. But, and then I wonder going forward, who's going to design the bows? Is Rex? Yeah. I mean, he's in like his 80s, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just wondering if now they're going to find somebody else to design them, or I don't know how that works. But I wish them all the best. We got a great relationship with Black Eagle and Conquest. Great customer service. They're only about 2 hours away from us. And then we've got a local guy, Dwight's Archery, about 20, 25 minutes up the road. He's been a Darton dealer
how long?
Since I was a kid. Yeah. And, Darton had called me multiple times a couple of years ago talking about, you want to become a dealer? And I said, I wouldn't do Dwight that way, because Dwight was one of the guys that helped me get started late 90s, early 2000s. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't talked to him about it yet, but I'm curious to see what his take is, because I seen another dealer comment that they hadn't even been contacted about it until they just seen the whole press release thing. So, and they already sent us price lists and all this stuff, and pretty much said, if you're Black Eagle, you're good to order Darton stuff and all this. And Darton makes a great bow, but at the same time, I don't want to compete with Dwight just because I have respect for Dwight. So we'll see how all that plays out going forward as far as whatever. So anyway, that's big news. Another one.
Obsession released 3 bows.
Obsession released 3 bows and said another 4 is coming next month. And it looks like they got good speedy specs on them. Mm-hmm. It looks kind of like the same riser design they've had in the past, which is fine because I like it. But I'm hoping the other 4, I'd like to see something completely different. You know what I mean? Like something completely different. Well, even if it's a slower bow, I feel like we've seen the same riser designs for quite some time.
But yeah, the Obsession, I think they kind of did a throwback to the DEF CON series. And, like I said, DEF CON 2 M6 and a DEF CON DEF CON 2 M7, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm interested to see what the other 4 is going to be. That's what I'm really interested in.
I'm just hoping, like I say, the other 4, I hope there's something completely different.
Yeah.
And I don't even know. I hadn't kept up lately. I know Kevin Strother's still designing for Expedition, but I don't know if he's still designing for Obsession or not.
I don't know.
I need to look into that.
He might not be, since Martin technically Obsession went in with Martin.
Yeah.
So he might not be designing anymore. I do know that they went back to a 3-piece system, or a 3-piece string set, whereas last year they were switched over to a 5-piece set on the, what was it, the Revolutions and stuff.
Yeah.
So
that and then in our town here in Anderson, we have a Sportsman's Warehouse, and this week Bass Pro bought out the parent company of Bass Pro bought out all the Sportsman's Warehouses. So now you pretty much got Bass Pro, Cabela's, Sportsman's Warehouse, Redhead brand, all this stuff under one
conglomerate.
Umbrella type thing. So I'm curious to see how that does. And I mean, to be honest, it's a nice little store, the Sportsman's Warehouse here in town. They got a real nice gun selection.
Yeah.
A decent amount of archery stuff. It's on the high side, but even. But they met Bobby. Y'all met Bobby on our podcast. He was the original archery tech there when they opened up. He called me and wanted to learn a few things, and I showed him some stuff, and he went up there and they hired him as their main guy.
Yeah.
And then he came here a little bit later, but I mean, they got a nice little setup. Like I say, just a little bit. I got all kind of. Is that you or me? That's you, I think.
Me.
So that's news. It seemed like this week was I didn't expect all kind of news this week because it's like Christmas, New Year's week, and now we got bows coming out and stuff being bought out, and the darting thing probably took me the most off guard. But
yeah, that took me way off guard because I mean, I just happened to scroll through Facebook, and all of a sudden I see Black Eagle and Conquest with dart and archery under it. I'm like, what in the world?
Mm-hmm.
So I hurried up and I screenshot it, and I shot it to you, and I don't even think you'd heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like Parker the other year when they went out of business. That comes straight out of left field.
Yeah, it was like, boom. We, hang on, my microphone's getting jacked up. Okay. We got our first Hamski Primer rest in today, which is their $130 cheaper rest they just came out with. We had the very first one come in today, set it up. It set up nice. It's still solid and well built. The only thing really plastic on it is the cage on it.
Yeah.
And one thing that David noticed that I didn't really pay attention to is the bottom of the launcher is like silver metal. And he's like, I'm gonna marker that or something.
Yeah.
I could see that being bright in a hunting situation, but that was just our first handling of it, and hopefully we'll have some more in soon, and maybe even bring one on a podcast or on something and show it to you. But
I wonder if you could actually change that, the launcher arm out to some of their other launcher styles, or if it's just got to be that one.
I don't know.
I don't either.
And it's got the little, what are they calling that thing on the cord?
The rebound dampener, I think.
I don't know enough about it to talk, but it's a big rubber blob hooked onto the cord, I guess, to avoid the rest from rebounding as much or something. A couple of years ago, I don't know if you remember this, I did those super slow motion videos out there, and we noticed a couple of the rest would slap back up.
Yeah.
I'd almost be curious to do that with something like that and see if we see it.
I know I watched a little video the other day just because, I hadn't seen anything on that rest except it come out and they had this new dampener on there. But from what I can tell, you want to stretch it. When you go to tighten your cord, you want it to stretch that rubber dampener just a little bit. And it's supposed to help take out string oscillation on that cord. On that cord. That way it prevents it from doing the bounce back.
The only thing I would have, and I told you this, the only thing I'd have done was, it's got the old school, you got to loosen up the little football device to pull that core down and then tighten it back up. I like it so much more on the Trinity that has that little, like the things you see on like a tent where you just take that thing and pull it tight and then you can flip it sideways and loosen it, because that is so much easier than trying to fumble with a little tiny screw and holding this and that tight. But I understand they're trying to keep their price points different. You know, the Trinity is up a notch or two over this rest, and I thought this rest was called the Premier, but it's wrote like Primer, so I guess it's just the Primer. Yeah. I don't know if I'm a fan of the name. I mean, I guess it don't matter, but Primer sounds weird. But anyway,
I guess if you call it the Primer, because it
being like the entry.
Well, not only that, but it's being, it's still well built. That was what I liked. It was still well built, but it was pretty much just a bare bones. It had what Hamski wanted to put in it, and it's a good. I mean, for $130, I mean, you're not gonna go wrong at that price point.
I think I mentioned this, or I may not have, but our PSE. Embark has shipped. It should be here any day, and I'm gonna try to get a video. I don't think, just from what I've read on reviews, I don't think we'll have it long, because a lot of them hadn't shipped yet, and I think somebody will snatch it up quick. But I'm gonna try to, like, right when it gets here, do a quick overview video of it so you can see it. But it should be here any day, and I look forward to doing that. We still hadn't got one of our 36-inch model primes in. I've been kind of waiting on that to start doing these prime videos. But I'm thinking any day on it as well. So we've got a bunch of 32s in, 34, waiting on a 36, and we've got another couple dozen of all of them ordered. So anyway, let me see what we got here. I think we can get to our questions. I got a few questions here. Somebody asked, where's the best place to get custom wrist slings? Look on Facebook, Zerto's Custom Slings, I think it is.
I think so.
There's a guy, and he makes them for a heck of a price, and he can do, I can't even describe all this. He can do these different braids. He's put rubber barbed wire in them. He's put emblems on them, logos, anything you can imagine. We've had him make wrist slings, binocular slings, anything you can think of. This guy can do it. Any color, you can tell him I've got this camo, and he'll sort of match it, and that's so look up Zerto's Slings on Facebook. Very nice fella.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see here.
I need to get him to make me one for mine.
I have a 4-pin sight. What would y'all suggest I set my pins at? I mean, just out of the gate, I'd say 20, 30, 40, 50. But I wish I knew what bow you had, because the only thing that would really change that, let's just say you had a super old bow, like a 1980s bow or even 90s, I would then say you might even want like a 10-yard, 10, 20, 30, 40. If you got something on the slower end. And then again, you got something that's super fast, you could do 20, 40, 60, 80. I mean, not shoot a deer at 80, but you'd have that to practice with. So, but if it was just average Joe, 20, 30, 40, 50 is what I'd do. Yep. 4-pin sight. And that's when I was still shooting multiple pins, I'd gotten to where I would set my 3 at 20, 40, 60. Then I went to 2 for a while and just had a 20, 40, with a pretty fast bow. But I'm just in love with these single pin sights now.
Yeah. It opens up that field of view so much more in that scope, or sight housing, however you want to call it.
Let's see. Chad says, enjoyed your used bow chat the other week. My son is 16. What used bow or bows should I be checking out for him in the 250 range? So I'm guessing he's meaning a used bow, 16-year-old son. I'm just going, in general, a 16-year-old kid's probably going to pull 50 to 60 pounds. I could pull more, don't get me wrong, but so let's just say a 50, 60-pound bow, probably a 26 to 29-inch draw. For 250, let me think. I guess if you went Matthews, you could get back in, like you go back a little ways, but like a Z7, let me think.
But it's going to be cam specific, draw length specific.
That's true.
That's the biggest.
Let's stick with adjustable. You could definitely find a diamond like Infinite Edge because they've been around a while now for about that price.
Infinite Edge Pro, Infinite Edge.
A PSE Stinger X, which is just one generation older Stinger. You could find one of them for $250, and they're 21 to 30-inch draw. Super adjustable. Not the fastest bow, but super adjustable. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there. Like, I'll never name them, and I know people will be saying, "Oh, you forgot to mention." But I'm just off the top of my head thinking here. The Hoyt Ignite, the any of the Mission bows.
That's what I was trying to think was Mission.
You could, I'm sure, find a Craze, maybe a Craze 2, a bunch of, and a million other ones for about $250.
Yeah.
So anything, and I've said it before. If you're in that, you're looking for a bow and you come across. I had a guy call the other day. I talked to him, and he said, I'm looking for a bow. I seen y'all's podcast. I found I don't even remember what bow it was. Here's what they got it listed for. Do you think it's worth it? And I think they had it listed way too high or something. I was like, just be honest, that's a pretty old bow. That's pretty high. And we'll be happy to just shoot us a message or whatever.
Yeah.
Be happy to kind of let you know, yay or nay. And, the only bad thing with buying a used bow on the internet is you can't see it. It may, if it has a cracked limb, you're kind of screwed. But as long as you either buy it on, say, eBay, or if you PayPal, make sure you don't do friends and family. That way, if you get it and there's a problem, you let eBay or PayPal know, and that seller has to take it back, and you get your refund as soon as the shipment shows that it's been delivered. So,
well, also just before you get like eBay or PayPal, contact the seller first and just say, hey,
make sure you get plenty of pictures.
Yeah,
all that, because I was just thinking about Partain. What bow did he get the other year and ended up it came in and had a warped riser? It was a Hoyt something. Was it a kid's bow?
I think it was.
Anyway, he done chatted with the guy. I think he got it through Facebook. For me, I probably wouldn't buy a bow from Facebook because I've seen a lot of people get scammed in these groups. And I'm not saying, it's probably only 1% of people that are scamming people, but you see it. And, but anyway, and he ended up getting his money back because he played it right with PayPal the way he paid. But he got it, and he said, "Man, look at this riser." And I mean, it was obviously really, really warped. And he called the guy, and I don't remember what the guy told him, and so he sent it back and got his money back. But just, and I'm sure he ended up being out of some money for shipping. Partain did, but just stuff like that you got to be careful of. We've seen a few doozies over the years.
Yeah, and if you're the guy, or you're in the same town, or if there's a local shop, just say, hey man, do you mind if we meet at the shop, or do you mind if I take it to the shop and have a shop look at it just to make sure?
And my advice would be, because I know there's some shops out there that's going to get pissed if you show up and you're buying somebody else's bow. Call the shop and say, listen, I'm wanting to buy this guy's used bow. Can I give y'all $20? Or something, something just for y'all to look it over and tell me this bow's okay, because you don't want to offend the shop.
Yeah.
Or tell them, I'm going to have y'all set it up, but do you mind looking at it? Because I read, there's a lot of people that get offended about that sort of thing. If you're going to walk into their shop and you're going to say, yeah, this bow's good, and then everybody's going to walk out and you're like, well, why did we help them out? But if somebody called us and said that, I'd say, we don't need any money. We'll be happy to help you. And that'd just be our way of hoping they'd come back and spend money in the future. But I know some shops are a little crazy. So anyway, but yeah, definitely meet them in the shop, have them look at it. What is a good setup for Max FOC, not necessarily a lot of total weight? So the way I'm taking it is, or just my suggestion about this would be, get something like a Black Eagle Carnivore that's a lightweight arrow, but it's going to have even more front and center when you put weight up front because it's such a light arrow versus like I'm staying in the Black Eagle family, but like a Rampage 150 or 250, you put that same amount of weight up front and it's not going to have as much front and center because the whole arrow has so much weight. So, your Black Eagle Carnivore, there's a lot of Carbon Express stuff that's super lightweight, some Victories, but just, my suggestion would be the Carnivore. Put you a brass insert in it with maybe 30 or 50 grains in the back of it. You'll get a good bit of front and center, and you won't have a super heavy arrow. You know what I mean? If that's what you're going for, that's kind of the way I took it. Let's see here. Easiest way to fix my peep not being straight at full draw. Pretty common thing. I mean, there's 100 things to throw in here. Like, is it a factory string? Is it an old string? But ultimately, just to fix it, you can either, according to how bad it is, you can grab your string and twist that loop one way or another to where it is offset. But when you hook your release up, it pulls it back straight.
Yep.
Or ultimately, you may need to get it to a bow press for whoever to put a twist or half twist or whatever you need in it to get it straight. So, and there's nothing more aggravating than having a peep that will not stay straight. And I remember the days of, just shooting a factory string when I'd get a bow, and literally you'd spend hundreds and hundreds of shots messing with that thing to get it to stay right, and then your strings would stretch, and it was just a big mess. So if you can afford it and get a decent set of strings, that'll like alleviate a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And there's a million good string makers out there. Of course, we make strings as well. Don't forget about us. But that, get you a good set of strings and then get it straight from the get-go, and it should stay there.
I don't know about you, but on any of my bows, I still reach up and just touch that peep, even though it's coming back straight.
Muscle memory, yeah.
It's just part of my routine, muscle memory.
I don't do it I don't think I do it, but I know when I was really shooting a lot of tournaments, the setup I had was with a zebra string, and it was always jacked up, and that was part of my routine. And then after I, didn't have that trouble, I did it for a long time, and it's just, like you say, it's almost like you're just so used to doing it,
Yeah.
But it just gets to be a pain in the butt. But yeah, if you can get a good set of strings, do it. And if not, even a junk set of strings, like some of these cheaper packages, most of them come with a rubber peep, so it'll pull it straight. But you put a couple hundred shots in them, most of the time they'll settle down enough to where you can get it straight. But sometimes it don't. I know it. People come in with a cheap bow package and they'll be like, "Can you fix my peep?" And we'll put a twist in, do all this stuff, and try our best to get it right. They'll go out there and shoot 20 shots, and it'll be a little back and forth, and finally it just comes to the point where, like, listen, we've went both ways and done this, that, and other. We can, here's your options. Let's put a decent string on this thing. Let's put a rubber on it, or you just going to have to deal with it. But, and when I say cheap strings, some of these cheaper packages, they don't pre-stretch the string at the factory, which means there's all kind of tension and torque weird stuff going on under the serving. So once a string goes from, around 100, I'm just in general throwing this out, but it goes from around 100 pounds of tension sitting there to at full draw. The string itself, not the cables, but the string literally only has about 10 pounds or less according to everything else but of weight. So you're going from it being tight to it not being that tight. And if you want to kind of check this out, let somebody come to full draw and, of course, let them know you're going to do this, but reach over there and just give their string a wiggle. I mean, it's almost zero tension on it. Now, don't wiggle it too much. You'll derail their bow. But so anyway, that going from super tight to super loose, if the string's not balanced, it's going to twist into all this stuff. So it can be a pain in the butt. But yeah, you're going to probably have to have a bow press unless it's just barely off and you can twist the loop.
Yep.
So let me actually got one more question here. We got a couple more. I'm just going to pick one. Are we still liking the glow loop? Yes. Hadn't had any trouble out of it. Still got some. I know we shipped some and put a bunch on there for a while. Hadn't heard much about it lately. Let's see here. Is tiller tuning still effective? It is, but most people don't fool with it because limbs are so much more matched now than when people actually did do tiller tuning. That was, long story short, it was playing with your limb bolts to get everything perfect, like your top and bottom limb. This was mostly in solid limb days, but let's say they were off a couple deflection numbers. Well, you'd give one a quarter turn and shoot a group and off and on and on. And anyway, it just kind of matched your stuff. But most people don't fool with it anymore unless you have a weird trouble. I wouldn't even think about it. But let's see. somebody had asked what other bows do we know of that are coming out. We kind of talked about them. You got Expedition still coming. We were told, PSC was going to slowly drop a bunch throughout the year, and I would imagine them to drop something around what was going to be the ATA time.
Well, Hoyt, they still got to release. I know they released that Torix.
It said January. I seen something the other day about it, but I forgot what date. So, yeah, you got some big players out there still.
Yeah.
Bowtech was going to release a couple from what somebody said.
Yeah, because they released
something.
They released a couple, and they said that they were still going to release some more. I'm wondering if a lot of I just kind of wonder if some of these, like Bowtech, Hoyt, except for Matthews and Prime and PSC, well, PSC's doing throughout the year, but I just wonder since they canceled the ATA if they're not just going to keep those release dates that they had planned on releasing.
Or close to them. Yeah, I agree. So we should still have a lot of stuff to talk about for being released and accessories as well. We made some orders. We made our big shot target order. They'll be coming in a month or two. They always come on an 18-wheeler.
Oh, Lord.
And if you've ever been to our shop, you can't get an 18-wheeler down our little driveway here, so they have to park out the road and pretty much block the whole road while we try to get all these targets off. It's a mess, but ordered a bunch of them. We got bag targets, our usual Iron Man easy pull targets we like. I got some big ones, some little ones, all this stuff. Some broadhead targets. I got to get our Black Eagle order done for the year.
Yeah.
Got to get our Spot Hog. Still got to do all that, but
B3, you still need
B3.
to. I'm trying to think of who else we were talking about.
A lot of stuff lost in the mail.
Yeah.
We got stuff lost everywhere in the mail.
Yeah. 3D's fixing to start up.
3D is all on us. I was hoping, so I ordered a 36-inch, the new Prime bow to shoot 3D with, but I don't know when it's coming. So I guess it's already set up. My 39-inch, I just need to shoot it a little bit. Because in 2.5 weeks we got Kiwi and then Tab and then Kiwi or whatever, and then we got some stuff. So
I'm probably going to be shooting a 5 because since I changed cams out on my 9 up there, I don't think my ears are long enough. So I might be shooting old 5.
I got to get something going. I just need to shoot a few airs and make sure I'm good, and then I will definitely be looking forward to the first couple shoots we can get to, because last year we didn't hardly do nothing because of the COVID.
Well, and I guess the TAC or the Total Archery Challenge, you hear us talk about this all the time, but that's like one of our favorite shoots. And, we were pumped up, we were ready for it, and then when they canceled it, it was just kind of like, I'm done.
Yep.
So
they so we'll see. Hopefully this year is much better, but I'm not getting my hopes up.
Me neither.
We're still in the middle of this COVID mess. I think it'll take to get kind of back to normal. I still think it'll be another year, but we'll see. Hopefully not. But so here's what y'all are waiting to hear. We're going to give away a pack of Black Eagle Renegade arrows, 250 spine. So it'll be a little on the heavy side, which is what everybody's wanting. It should be suitable for about any weight unless you're shooting some 100-pound bow. And what you need to do, we're going to do it on our last live feed in January. So let me look up the date real quick. Where's it at? Calendar. That should be Thursday the 28th, somewhere around 5:30 or 6 p.m. We're going to do it live on YouTube. But what you need to do is like this video, hit the thumbs up, and there's going to be a link in the description to enter to win it. And we're gonna pretty much take all that, your names, and put it in a fishbowl and make it easy this time. Instead of doing numbers and all that, we'll just have it in there. And so if that's on the 28th, we'll say you got to have your entry in by the 27th at midnight. That way they'll give us the 28th to get everybody's name compiled. But a whole 6-pack of pre-fletched, we'll cut them to whatever length you need, put the inserts in, the whole 9 yards of Black Eagle Renegade 250s. So I think that'll be a good giveaway to do.
Yep.
Spread the word. You can only enter one time, so if you put your name in 100 times, we're only going to put it in the fishbowl one time.
Yep.
But good luck, and I think it'll be neat. We ain't done a giveaway in a while, so I thought it'd be good to try something out.
Yep.
So that's all I got.
Me too.
So Happy New Year.
Yep. Happy New Year.
Let us know if you need us, and we're still got a lot. I mean, not a lot, not like busy season a lot, but we still got a good 8 or 10 bows to restring, and lots of string orders still coming in, and lots of Christmas gifts needing set up and all that type of thing. So you just let us know if you need us for anything, and all our contact information is below. We got hopefully some cool videos coming soon of bows and this, that, and other, and
we hope.
Yeah,
we hope
if they'll get them here.
Yep.
Post office don't lose everything else we got, but
yeah.
Y'all have a good one. Appreciate y'all listening and watching. We'll see y'all next week.
See y'all.